Welcome to the second episode of Kaylin's Lens. I am so beyond excited to be releasing this episode to you today. I just want to start by saying thank you to every single person that gave me feedback that really helped me understand what it takes to make a good podcast episode and ways that I could have improved after the first episode, Investing in Your Sanctuary, Who is Kaylin? I also want to say a massive thank you to everybody that supported me and that connected with everything that I had to say in that episode. I was truly blessed with all the positive energy that I received. And so, as everyone knows, and from last episode, this week's episode is going to be about Freshers Week. It's going to be about the uni culture, drinking, FOMO, the pressure to party and go clubbing, and how when I take a step back, that is not the way that I want to live my life, and how I have just done Freshers Week and how I did not do that once and lived a completely different Freshers Week to the one I could ever have imagined 6 months ago, to one that was really driven, really ambitious, and had so much productivity within it that I was just so like surprised this Sunday, just like today, taking a step back and being like, I actually did a lot when I think about it. And so I really want to share with you like my reasons as to why I don't drink at the moment and how that has shaped my routines, my friendships, and ultimately like my vision for the future. And so I really want you guys to consider and think is like, are you living your life because that's the way that you want to and by decisions you choose to live it by? Or are you actually living your life based on everybody else and what everyone else is doing and not living it to the true authenticity that you want or need? And so for me, growing up, I had never really been around alcohol. Like, alcohol's never played a predominant part in my life. It's like we have a cupboard at home. I say cupboard, it's literally a shelf, which is like half full of like drinks. But it's like those same drinks have been in the house for 15 years. We don't like my parents don't drink. I've never really been around it. Like I haven't seen my aunts or my uncles drink. I've never engaged with it. And so the only times I've ever really seen it is if we went on holiday and my parents would have like an Archer's or they'd have a cider. Or on Christmas Day, my dad would have a cider. And that's really like the only points in my life where I've really seen alcohol or known about it being around me. And so it kind of gave me the perspective of like, I've never known it to be something to be depended upon but more as something that's for joy. But then I really quickly realized that like so many people, especially at uni, use it to depend upon. And I've just seen it as like in my life, drinking's never the default or what I want to do. And so because I've never grown up around it, it shaped who I am today. And I look at it and like that's like why for me I also feel like I hardly ever drink. Or just I'm currently like 6 months sober, but and right now I don't plan on drinking or don't really want to drink, and I've just really lived my life of like I can't predict the future, but I know right now that's not what I want to be doing with my time on my life. And so I think a big part of that was the way that I grew up. And so I really want you guys to think, was there any point in your life that, growing up as a child, that you considered it to be normal or anything in general? It doesn't have to be alcohol, but like some actions of your parents that you thought was normal and that you've continued into your adulthood. And I also want you to think of actions which were normal in your perspective, but you've actually decided, you know what, on reflection, that's not normal and you don't want to continue them through adulthood. For me, when it comes to drinking, I really have like for me narrowed it in my mind. Like there is like five key reasons why I just don't want to drink. Number one is like health. At the end of the day, I know the impact that alcohol can have on the body on a long period of time. We see it all through the media, kidney disease, liver disease, like your immune system, everything just shuts down and stops working quickly because of the things that bring and that you consume within your body. It's like known that having a small drop of alcohol every day can lead to dependency and an addiction. For me, I just know for my health and my mind and my mental health and my physical health especially, like alcohol just doesn't fit into that perspective and that entire like way of living. And so for me, because it doesn't, I kind of just don't want it. I don't want to engage in it. I don't want to live with it. And so I don't want it to be in my life for my health. And another reason is like I noticed is that when I did used to drink, I would lose control. I'd lose control of my thoughts. I'd lose control of everything that I was doing. And I remember one time, in fact, and it was like I went out and I drank and I must have been so off my head because I woke up the next day and I got told all these things that I did, and I don't remember a single one. I still don't remember doing it to this day because I'm like, what? And so for me, because I like the control to say what I want to say, have the thoughts I want to think, be in control of my actions. Me drinking just stops that. And I'm like, I don't want to live my life in that way where I have to think, oh my God, did I really do that? I don't remember doing that. What on earth? I just don't want to live my life like that. And so for me, it's like, I would much rather have a drink like Pepsi Max and I get such a great buzz off Pepsi Max. All my friends know. It's like I come alive and like my energies when I had a Pepsi Max. And so for me, I'd much rather just stay in control of my own actions. I just want to know what I've done. And so for me, another reason is like these are my prime growing years. The years where I want to work my ass off, the years where I want to dig deep, delve into every avenue that I want to delve into, the years where I don't want to just be partying and clubbing. Like I don't party, I don't club anyway. And like for me, it's just like I don't want to be doing a normal standard life that everyone is envisioning at uni. They go out on the Wednesday, they go out on the Saturday. Like that's just not me. And I remember listening to this episode, and it was the very, very first episode or podcast, should I say, that I ever listened to. And it was episode 45 of the Leave Your Mark podcast. And it was Lexi Schumacher speaking. And she goes something along the lines of like, so your mum's friends are like, so you don't drink, you don't party. And it's like, why would I do what every other person is doing when I want a different outcome than everyone else has? Like, that to me is just crazy. It's like, I don't want to drink because I want to pay for my parents' bills. I want to retire my mum and dad. I want to send them on holidays. I want them to be able to, you know, go watch the football, go to the theatre, go on the cruise. I want them to have the extension and live the dream life. I want to be able to travel the world. And I know that in my financial position, had I drink and been able to drink, I would not have gone to Paris, Rome, Budapest, all in the space of 6 months at uni in my first year had I chosen to drink. Fact. It's just a fact. I worked my arse off to get to that period. So I was not going to drink my life away. I was like, I'm not going to do that because that isn't me being me. And so why on earth am I going to do something that's literally going to stop me from experiencing all those experiences where I get to grow and blossom in so many different ways. And so for me, I'm like, I'm not saying I'd never ever go out, but when I think about the time and energy that I spend, I would just much rather want to spend that on myself, on my friends, on my family. And so for me, like, I really want you guys to think, are you actually drinking because you want to? Or are you drinking because that's what everyone else is doing? And so everyone that knows, like uni, Freshers Week, it's all about going to the clubs, it's all about partying, it's all about drinking and doing all of that. And I'm like, I get it. I completely get it. That's what my expectation was going into first year. But this year, going on this journey, I really wanted to do it completely different. I really wanted it to do it so much more authentic to myself. And so I know that this past week, I have not gone out once. I have literally just for me, I wanted to treat Freshers Week as an introductory week to uni. And so I really wanted to lay the foundations for uni to begin, set routines, establish new boundaries and routes, and really, really just take it as a week to slow my way into a new environment because I've never been in these halls before. I've never been in this place, this area, and really just get to understand how my life's going to look for the next 9 to 12 months. And so it began with like waking up at 4:30, going to the gym, doing my morning routine, doing my skincare, you know, listening to podcasts, getting my 10,000 steps in every single day, you know, going and exploring London and coming back, cooking meals, organic from ingredients. And yeah, I'll cheat and I'll have a sauce from time to time, but like, doing all those things, and then coming back in the evening, doing red light therapy every Sunday, Tuesday, Friday night that I did this past week, putting that mask on, going for a shower, doing my skincare, you know, turning my phone off 30 minutes before I go to bed and reading a book. Like just doing these basic steps this past week has really, really allowed me to get the sort of foundations laid that I can have a fulfilling time at uni and doing things that I just really want to be doing. And I don't really want to be going out. I don't really want to be drinking. I don't really want to be doing that. I'm like, let's just go somewhere that's a little bit more classy, have a meal, you know, let me have a Pepsi Max. You guys can drink whatever you want to do because that's your life. Let them do that and let me just have my Pepsi Max, you know. And for me, it just felt like such a blessing. It was such a wild, wild week. I was so productive, got through so much things and did so much, did a bit of shopping. And I also was just like, I really want to just plan because I know finances are really, really tight as a student. I really wanted to just plan where I was going to shop. And so for me, because I get a slight little bit of discount through my work, I was like, right, okay, I want to compare the prices from this store to this store. And it allowed me to really evaluate. And that's like, I'm going to save myself a bit of money. I wouldn't say a bit, but like a slight amount of money from just shopping at this store, which is just another 5-minute walk, which is me also getting in more steps for that day. So for me, it was just more like laying the foundations, is how I really wanted to approach Freshers Week. And I felt like I just accomplished so much more than I could have done had I just done it the traditional route. And don't get me wrong, I really, really like did experience FOMO. The first few days was like seeing everyone out, seeing everyone going clubbing, and seeing everyone just like really, really like doing what they love to do. And I did feel like for a split second, like, am I missing out? But then I think, like, no, I'm really just not, because that's just not the way that I want to live my life. It's not for me, but it's like, if that's for you, that's fine, because that's what you're enjoying, And so I'd much rather just focus my time on building my dreams, working my ass off, focus on my degree, investing in like real friendships, deep, deep friendships where it's deep rooted in things you have in common as well. Like I feel like I've had so many much more in-depth conversations with people, like connected with my family, and I've had deeper conversations and more intimate conversations with family members because of it. And so for me, I really want you to understand is like that FOMO will soon disappear when you realize you're not actually missing out on what actually matters to you and what you actually want to live your life by. And so for me, I really want you guys to think of like, is there a part of your life where you're just saying yes because of the fear of rejection, the fear of being hated, the fear of missing out, instead of out of a desire to be like, yeah, I actually want to do that. And I'm just saying yes because I do want to do that, or I'm just saying yes for the sake of it, and building that self awareness. So I really want you to consider is like, is there that point in your life? And another thing for me is like the benefits that I've had from just like being able to choose this authentic way of living in terms of just like not wanting to drink is it's not really for me. It's not about a restriction. It's not me restricting my life. It's about freedom. It's about me having the ability to do more with my life. You know, like I save money from it. Like £60 is probably like how much someone could spend, like £50 every single night, or $100 or £100 every single weekend. And it's like, I would much rather invest that into stocks for my future, into clothes that I literally like love fashion. So me choosing my outfits gives me happiness, into holidays, solo trips, everything I said that I want to do for my mum, my dad, taking my friends on trips, getting my friends to London and paying for their tickets and then their rooms, doing all that, because at the end of the day, that's what really gives me happiness. It's like my biggest dream right now is one of my friends, and she is literally, I say friends, that is like my best, best friend on the entire planet, because I am so beyond blessed to have her in my life. She is literally one of my biggest inspirations every single day, seeing her fight and claw her way through uni and all the trials and tribulations that she has lived through. Like, she's one of the biggest inspirations to me. is like being able at one point is just to be like, hey, here's a ticket, come to London, we're gonna do all this together. Like for me, that's like one of my biggest dreams right now. And for one of my other closest friends, one of my best friends from who's currently in Colville, it's like I want to do exactly the same. I'm like, here's a ticket to London. How about you just come? You want to come for the weekend, and we can do all this. And for me, like that gives me so much more happiness because I'm like being able to treat my friends and do the things with my friends and allow them to have the experiences that I'm having being in London because I know it's something that they could only ever dream of. And so for me, just trying to have like a normal uni life isn't what I want because I lost myself trying to do that and trying to just fit the normal standard. But now I know what actually makes me happy. So every choice I make is a seed. And one day you'll live in the forest that you've planted. And so for me, I've also realized that because of that, like alcohol isn't the foundation of those friendships. Any of those friendships were never built on alcohol. They were built on trust. They were built on honesty. They were built on realism. They were built on connection and finding those things in common. And they take longer to build those everlasting friendships, but they are real. The conversations between us are never blurred, and that connection just doesn't disappear. Like we can go a couple of days and a few days and weeks probably without talking, but that connection never disappears. And because we have that depth that's took time, it's like it blossoms into this incredible thing. And I wouldn't be where I am today without those individuals. Like, because those friendships are so deep and so loved on both sides, it's like we are able to form and achieve so much in our lives. And I can't lie to you, like, I really do feel like because alcohol wasn't the primary factor of it and that how those relationships formed, we're able to go through times where we don't speak because we're just so busy. But then when as soon as we do, it's just like we never lost contact, and like that depth does take time, and that's what I'm just all about. It's a longevity game. It's a longevity mindset. It's like having those abilities to create those friendships just mean more to me than just going out and having fun because that's what every other person's doing. And so discipline now just gives freedom later to be able to want to do all those things in the future and be able to, just to be like, whilst everyone else is out living for the Friday night, the Saturday night, the Wednesday nights, I just want to build a life that I want in my 20s and a life that I want in my 30s, 40s, 50s. And by me saying no now is just creating so much more for my future and for our future as friends and family. And that's just really what I want. And so for me, I really, really want you guys, if you're listening and you're going through this sort of, I don't really know what I want my uni experience to be. I don't really know what I want to do. And I don't really want to say no to things because I'm scared of missing out. I do think it's especially hard, is like just to say yes, 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 yes to absolutely everything during like Freshers Week, especially as a first year, because you just really want to find those friendships and find those connections. But when you dig inwards and when you find yourself and who you are, because that's what uni is all about. Yeah, you get your degree. I say that like, yeah, you get your degree. That is a big part. That is like 90% of it. But the other 10% is you finding yourself and finding friendships and finding who you are. But you have to dig inwards and know who you are and be honest with yourself. If you don't enjoy it, don't force it. If it's not something you want to be doing, don't do it. Let them. Let them judge you for not wanting to go out that night. Let them judge you for not wanting to go and do the things that they like to do. Let them judge you for being different and having your quirks because let you be your authentic self. That is just going to create and open so many doors for you and create so many friendships for you. I went into first year very closed off, like I didn't really speak to people. And it wasn't until I really invested in myself, became the version of myself that I really, really liked, because I didn't really like who I was or what I was doing. And I look back and I'm like, there are certain people that I kind of wish I did make friends with and I was just like, I was a bit rude to them. And I look back on reflection and I'm like, just taking that time to really, really invest and letting yourself and let me be me and be and do the things I want to do you blossom into this out of life character that is respected by so many people, is cherished by so many people. And so for me, it's just also like finding alternatives, finding things that are different, that make you stand out, make you niche, is what creates so much more and allows you to blossom and do so much more with your life. Like for me now, I love watching the football. Which I actually don't, let's be real, because Man United are performing horribly. I'm not going to get on that because I could just go on a tyrant about, oh my God, Burnley actually gave me some hope. Though the scoreline was awful, it did give me a bit of hope. But no, after Man City, no. I'm like, it's stressful. And now Chelsea and that game, who knows at this point? Who honestly knows what is going to happen? But even just like going to the theatre, even like for me, going to the gym and like doing whatever fuels me, listening to podcasts, creating podcasts, doing my uni work fuels me, you know, spending that time in myself and my health and cooking meals and organic meals, reading, like doing all the things that really dig within me allows me to be respected more because people respect clarity. People stand by the choices you make, and people are like, well, he's not fake. He's living his life authentically to the way that he wants to live it. And that's truly the best thing you could ever do is to not fake it till you make it. But it's just to be you. So I really want you to think, what would you want your uni year to be like if you lived it by your own terms? How would you want that year to play out? And I know you can't predict the future. I don't know what I'm going to predict tomorrow, what's going to happen tomorrow. But what I do know is that I know how I want to live my life. And I know the things that make me happy. And this doesn't have to just apply to uni, it can apply to so many more things. But it's like, what would it look like if you were to live your life based on how you want to live it? And so that's me. That is why I don't drink. Not because I think drinking is bad, but because I just know what I like and what is right for me. And if there is like one thing I want you to take away, it's that your sanctuary, the space, is where you protect your health, your wellness, your routines, your values. And that will be the best investment you could ever make. And so I really want to end it on just a thought of like, what's one habit? It doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be small. It could be whatever you want it to be that you could build today and implement today that your future self is going to be like, thank you. Thank you for starting that habit. Thank you for doing that thing. Because that to me allows me to then incorporate so many more habits into my life. And so next week, I really want to dive into mental health, especially at uni, really delve into my experience during first year, how my first week at uni kind of went, which I'm so excited to begin in this second year, doing all these modules. One module that I'm so excited is like revenue law. Everyone that knows me knows like money, taxes. I'm really obsessed with like the budget that's coming up in November. Um, but just learning about criminal law, tort law, equity, and trusts. I just can't wait for this year. But until next week, remember that the best investment you can make will always be in yourself.